Hello, mommies, friends, and family. Dumelang. Welcome back to another birth story. It's now Moagi's labor and delivery story, baby number 3. Right now, he's 2 years old. I hope you've watched the other two birth stories, that is Amogelang and Khosi's birth stories. If you haven't, I'll leave the link to their videos below. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not yet subscribed. I would really appreciate that. He was born in if it's 2020 now, when was he born? It would have to be 2018. He was born in 2018 on the 7th of July, 0707 at 7 p.m. So he was like a 777 kind of baby. During that year, I was on a course. I was studying in Midrand somewhere, and that week was the last week of the studies. So what used to happen was that we used to sleep there. So I would travel to Midrand. We were booked in, sleep there for that week, and then travel booked in on the Sunday night, attend my classes Monday to Friday, and then Friday after class come back home. So which is about an hour drive, or a little over an hour drive from where I live now. So that week was fine, everything was okay. Moagi's bag was ready, my bag was ready for in case of emergency, even though I wasn't even due around that time. But anyway, I left the bag by then. At that time, my then husband and I were living together, and I told him, I said, listen, in case of emergency, here are the bags, keep them in your boot or very close, and because you never know what happens. So I left then, I went to school, had my week of school, and then on Friday, oh, before Friday. So on Fridays, we used to write an exam, or like the major test for all of the work that we've learned. So I would say to the lecturer, like a few days leading up to that, like, aren't you going to tell us what the test is going to be about? No briefs. It was strange because the other lecturers would sort of give us the heads up in terms of what to study in the modules. But he never gave a hint or anything like that, and I'd keep asking. And one day I said, I think it was the day before now, it was a Thursday, and I said to him, listen, you need to tell me because I'm giving birth tomorrow, so I might not even be here. So I need to know whether we are writing the test or not. I was just pulling his leg. And he laughed it off. He's like, oh, well, if you give birth, we'll see what happens then. So then Friday came. Okay, we were not writing. That final module didn't have a test, any sort of exam or anything. So it was nice. We even had like our final goodbyes. The class presented me with a gift card and flowers for the baby and a nice speech. And then I had to do a speech. I thanked everybody for the journey and everything, and that was nice and cute. And then it was time to leave because everybody else was from different provinces. So, it was like the final goodbye. And yeah, so the final goodbyes happened. And then I wanted to go to the bank with one of the classmates. And so I was like, okay, we need to leave now because I don't want traffic when I go back home. If you know the traffic between Midrand and Joburg, it gets pretty hectic on a Friday, especially. So he was like, okay, we'll meet there, we'll meet at the bank. Then I left to my car, and as I was walking out to my car, water flushed down my body. I was just getting to the parking lot, just walked out of the building into the parking lot, and then I was like, what? I was wearing a nice mini dress, leggings, boots up to my knees with like a nice heel. Hey, and I was like, huh? What is that? So luckily my water broke with Josie as well. So this time with Moagi, I was like, okay, this is the sign that I'm giving birth. I ran to the bathroom, turned around, ran to the bathroom. Yes, my water was breaking. rolled up some toilet paper, wiped myself up, rolled up some more toilet paper, and put it there in my underwear in case more water would keep on running out. So then I ran to the classroom because everybody else was still there. And I spoke to one of my friends, Tebo, that I met there, and I said, Tebo, listen, my water just broke. Do you have a pad for me so that at least while I drive home, I know that, it's not gonna get messy. And she was like, no. Oh, she did have one. I can't remember if she had one or not. Anyway, then I left, and first I called my doctor to tell her, like, yo, this is happening. I'm not sure, and I'm very far. I'm in Midrand. So what should I do? And she said, okay, you should be fine. Don't panic. Drive straight to the hospital. And then that's exactly what I did. On my way there, obviously called everybody else that, called my sister, not everybody. I just called my sister, I think my mother, and my then husband to say, hey, man, like, looks like I predicted right. We're gonna have to meet at the hospital. Please make sure you come with the bags that I packed. And then I made my way there. And also the funny part about this is that my baby shower, surprise, the baby shower was supposed to happen the next day. Um, so that was funny. My sister was organizing it, and my sister and baby daddy was like, what? No. Everybody was just like, no, you can't give birth. And I think Debo, my friend, also knew. Not I think, later I found out she also knew. And she was also, I could see her panic is really weird. So anyway, went to the hospital. When I got to hospital, I drove peacefully. I made it all the way to hospital without any hiccups. Hey, me. I made it to hospital. When I got there, they checked, everything was fine, everything was going okay. And then, yeah, allocated a room for me, checking the child's heartbeat and all of that. And at first, actually, the nurse said, you can still go home and continue the process while you're at home. Just run a hot bubble bath, do this, do that. She gave me some tips. And I wasn't comfortable with that because I knew from my previous births that my giving birth process can take some time, but I never know when the moment is gonna come. It can happen really fast that I'm actually starting to give birth. So I said to her, no, you know what? My history looks like this, and so I don't want to risk that. I prefer to stay here and continue the journey here. And actually, the doctor also said that was the best option for me to stay there because doctor also knew my history. I had told her. So I stayed, and then eventually baby daddy arrived with all the things. We did all that stuff, and at some point, the that was the day before. Oh, and then I slept through the night with no issues at all, no pain, no nothing. Went through the night peacefully. Woke up the next day, and I was like, maybe I should have went home because look at me having slept the night. I just wasted money sleeping over. But anyway, luckily by this time, just like with Khosi, by now I had medical aid and all those things, and everything was fine. So I stayed. The next morning, everything was fine until later in the afternoon. In fact, um, that's when I found out that I'm having a baby shower because my doctor told me, listen, you're not supposed to know, but your husband has been begging me to release you for a few hours because apparently you have a baby shower going on somewhere. So they want you to come and attend the baby shower. And I said, what? That's insane. I am not leaving. There's no way I'm gonna leave. And she said, but don't tell him that you know now. Just let it go. Just tell him you can't leave. You're not sure where you're standing. So fine, that's how things went. I stayed, and yeah, baby shower went on. There were speeches and all and stuff. It was the funniest thing. It went on without me. And so later then around 4 p.m. my contractions start. And then just after they start, it's like my water broke again. That was weird. I had again a flush of water coming out of my body. And then they said, okay, it looks like your birthing time is getting nearer. And I went for a walk. We went for a walk around the hospital, just a nice, relaxed walk. And came back to the room. And yeah, the contractions kept getting stronger and stronger. And then they asked me, the doctor asked, should we, not the doctor, the nurse, doctor wasn't there, asked, should we, do you think we should induce you? Are you okay with that? And do you want epidural, anything? I said, no, I'm fine with epidural. And then I said, but you can induce me. I'm okay with that because I do understand that once my water breaks, just like with Khosi, the child is, exposed to a lot of infections. So I don't want that. The sooner the baby comes out, the better. And she asked, are you sure? I said yes. But she was also, about that. She was also okay with that decision. Then she gave me something else like a suppository. This was the first time I was getting this with the other birth. That never happened. She gave me a suppository and said I need to take out everything that's in my body so that when I give birth, we don't have any accidents from, different compartments of the body. So that happened. Things, and then the pains kept getting worse. And then around 6 p.m. she said, why is this thing taking so long? I mean, I induced you. Usually by now, things should be, you should be this far centimeters wise, but things are going really slow. I don't know what's happening. And then I told her about my history as well again. And then the pains just kept getting deeper and deeper. And by now I was starting to scream. And she was the calmest nurse I've ever come across. And then she called. By then, what was happening? Yeah, things were getting, things were happening faster. And then once again, literally 5 minutes to, by the time I'm being wheeled to the delivery room, luckily this time the delivery room was actually maybe 2 rooms away. It wasn't far. When I got, like, nothing was prepared in advance for me that, okay, we've prepared everything. When I was being wheeled in, screaming my lungs out, there was probably 5 nurses this time. There was a lot of them, and everybody was panicking. You could see they were trying to put things together, clean utensils, those things, just getting things ready for me and in order. And I said, you know what? And then I spoke to one of the colored nurses. She was that one was like, oh, you, what's going on? Just now we were with you and you were fine, and and I said to her, listen, I actually briefed her when she was admitting me, the colored lady. I told her, listen, when I give birth, I scream. So by the time I was getting into that ward, the delivery room, I told her again, I said, listen, remember I told you when I give birth, I scream? And she said, yeah, you're so sweet, you're so quiet, you're so calm. No, I said, listen, I scream. So I need you guys to know and understand that this is how I give birth so that, everything is okay for everyone. And she said, just listen to me. Listen to me. I'll guide you. All you have to do is just hold my hand, breathe, talk to baby daddy. So he was there this time. Don't worry. Everything will be fine. So I said, okay, but I'm warning you still. And then the contractions kept getting worse. And I would not breathe, I would scream. Like, I even laugh at myself sometimes because of how dramatic I am when I give birth. It's a complete opposite of who I really am, but it's still who I am. So I then would scream my lungs out. I didn't want baby daddy. He had some perfume on, and it was all of a sudden now I couldn't handle the smell. So every time he'd come close to me, I was like, move away from me. And it was so funny. That smell and shame. I'm sure he was very confused. Should I come? Should I hold you? Should I comfort you? What should I do? Anyway, um, then the colored lady said, listen here. After, after the push scream, and then I would stop, then she'd say in between, listen here, you need to stop screaming and rather breathe. And I said, what do you think I'm doing? I was like, I am breathing. I was like, ek het moet vir jou gesê dat ek scream when I give birth. I was like, I told you. So you just need to allow me. This is how, when I scream, it coordinates with my body and it helps me push better. And she's like, no, no, what you need to do is breathe. I said, I am breathing. Can I possibly give birth and not breathe and shut my lungs, like decide that I'm not going to breathe? There's just no way. I said, I'm breathing. And I was actually also kind of, like I was like, I am breathing. I'm breathing. I got a little, yeah, no, I wasn't happy. Because I was like, yeah, but at this time, anyway, I did my screaming and a scream, scream. I don't play. And she kept asking me, wait, you need to wait for the doctor. The doctor is not here. I said, there's no way I'm waiting. I'm not even pushing. This child is pushing himself out. And then child came eventually, just a few minutes later. While they were cleaning me up, the doctor arrived and she just stood there. She just stood and watched as they cleaned me up, and she was just like, how, you don't even wait for me? It didn't even take me 30 minutes to drive here and you've already given birth. She was a little disappointed, but the same thing happened with Khosi actually. I think I forgot to mention that in his birth story, that even with Khosi, I gave birth without the doctor. The doctor arrived in the morning when Khosi was even already in ICU and I was sleeping. So this time the doctor, she wasn't very happy. I could tell she wished she was there for the whole birth. She just sat there. And after giving birth to Moagi, I was on the most strangest high. Like, the birth felt magical. And even with him, I wanted a water birth, but when I was booking, I thought, you know what, let me not book at Genesis, because what if the same thing happens to me again that happened with Moagi, that happened with Khosi? So let me just be in a hospital. But he was the smoothest, most magical birth that I had, despite all of the screaming and all of that. And it felt so magical. It felt the way that giving birth was supposed to finally feel like for me. And I spent that night on an incredible high. I was on the phone with some of my friend and my cousin and my sister, the people that were at my baby shower. They had a whole night session without me, having fun at my baby shower. But I spoke with them and I don't even remember, did I call them? Did they call me? I even showed them the baby. I went to show them the baby. Baby was in another room so that I could rest. And yeah, that birth was, although still not a water birth, I still end my motherhood journey without a water birth, but it was the best. It was really a really nice birth that I enjoyed. That was the birth story with Moagi. Thank you so much. If you watched all 3 of my birth stories, thank you for allowing me to document this and share it with you. Yeah, I think that's all. Please remember to subscribe to the channel if you're not yet subscribed. And lots of love to you. Bye.